morning, boys and girls. Today is Monday, April the 28th, 2025. It is day 15 of our life cycle of a chicken unit. Can you believe this is going so quickly? We have less than a week left. We have 6 days left until our hatching time. We are going to have a time of review. We're going to look very quickly at the first 14 days of our embryo's development. This is a 3-week life cycle. We are 2 weeks and 1 day into the life cycle. We only have 6 days left. It's been amazing to watch the embryo and how quickly they develop inside. The embryo now is getting ready for our time of hatching, which for us is going to be on Monday, May the 5th. So next Monday, that's what we're looking at. We should have some pipping and zipping. Today is day 15, so we're going to take a look at 2 new vocabulary words, poultry and fowl. I'm going to start with fowl since fowl is inside the definition of the word poultry. Fowl is a wild or domesticated bird. So you can have birds in the wild. We see them all the time outside, don't we? Flying everywhere, maybe in your backyard. They are all over the place outside, all different kinds of wild birds. Domesticated is the opposite of wild. So domesticated means a pet, a bird that you keep as a pet. It could be a pet just to have, or it could be a pet chicken to raise for meat, or chickens to raise for eggs, but they are domesticated, which means a pet. So you have chickens in the wild, you have chickens that live as pets. The chickens that are pets tend to live longer. Why do you think that is? Why do you think a chicken that lives in the wild doesn't live as long as a chicken that lives in a domesticated environment, like in a farm, on a farm, or in a fence? Turn and talk to your friend sitting next to you about why you think animals that live in a domesticated environment live longer than wild animals. All right, so we know the definition now of fowl. It is any type of wild or domesticated bird, not just chickens, any type of bird. So now let's look at poultry. When you go to the grocery store, you see different sections in the grocery store. You see produce, you see bakery. One section you're going to see is a poultry section, and that's where you can find meat that is birds. So we eat meat. We're one of the predators to chickens, aren't we? So a lot of animals eat chickens, but poultry section is birds, and it's all the different kinds of birds that you might find in the grocery store or in a wild or domesticated type environment. So the definition of poultry are birds, which what was the word for birds again? Fowl. So poultry are fowl like chicken, turkeys, ducks, and geese. So let's look at some of these different birds and see if you can see the ways that they look the same and some ways that they look different. You might want to pause the video here and talk about some of that. How is a chicken's body shaped similarly to a duck's body? Look at their talons. How is a chicken's talons similar but different to the webbed feet of a duck, a goose? Look at this wild turkey over here. What are some similarities that you see? Look at that beak that they have. Look at that big wattle that they have. Look at the different feathers that they have and see if you can find some similarities. How are they alike and how are they different? Today is day 15. Let's take a look at our embryo. Today, something really cool is happening. The small intestines are going inside the body. So remember how we've talked about they have sort of this umbilical cord and it's attached to like a placenta thing on the inside of the egg that feeds them nourishment while they're in there, right? Well, some of that is also this yellow yolk hanging around, and some of it actually becomes a part of their insides. So as they start to suck in, part of their insides is actually floating out here in the yellow yolk. Isn't that disgusting and cool at the same time? Part of their insides is actually floating out here in the yellow yolk. And as they take the next 6 days, they're going to suck up all of that juicy, rich, nutrient-dense yolk that's around them, and their stomach's going to get so full and filled up. And that's how they are able to live sometimes 2 or 3 days after their hatched without eating or drinking anything. So you remember, it's going to take about a full day for them to get out of the egg. Then it's going to take about another full day for them to stay in the incubator and get dried out. So already we're at 2 days. And then in the natural environment, sometimes it takes the mom another day before all the chicks are hatched and she's ready to go teach them how to eat and drink. So sometimes they go 3 days without eating anything. How can they do that? Because they have sucked up all of these nutrients that were inside the egg and inside that yolk into their stomach to be totally full inside their stomach by the time they hatch. Now, the last thing I want to do today is I want to show you a picture of a day 15 embryo. Let's take a look at it really quickly. Let me find the one I wanted to show you. Oh, I think it was on this one. Okay, so here we go. Here's a day 15 embryo inside. Let me see if I can get it to clear up on the camera. This is a digestive look at inside the chicken. So you have the intestines in here. You have lots of different organs that are coming. But this is their life cycle. This is one picture of their life cycle, what they look like growing inside. This is about where we are. We're about day 15 of the embryo's development. We have 6 days left. How exciting!